Welcome to another edition of Jim Fixes Things. Today I introduce you to my 600-pound paperweight. In effect, a paperweight because it won't run. What's really crazy about the whole thing is we just paid to have the carburetors rebuilt. I rode it home, it did fine, and then I let it sit. Didn't drain the carburetors, and evidently there's gunk in the carburetors. I can't take a 20-year-old bike and put another $1,200 into it. It's just not worth it. So this guy is going to try to fix it. Sort of. You know, when it's 20 years old and you consider it only has 16,000 miles on it, you've got to wonder just what a serious biker I am, or bikers we are. Guy at the motorcycle shop gave me a couple of tips knowing what a situation I'm in. So I'm going to try and fill the gas tank. I'm putting some carburetor cleaner in, yes, carburetors, not injectors, and hope we can start this beast. My wife and I nicknamed it Delilah. Why Delilah? If you know anything about popular culture, that was a big song at one time. Got the key, new the gas cap. I'm going to pour in gas with my fingers crossed. The reason I'm going to fill it up is to put the carburetor cleaner in it. I've got to leave enough for my lawnmower though. I still have to mow. Drink up. Again, I'm not a real handyman or fix-it guy, but I think that's one thing you can learn if you've got a motorcycle. Start it. Drain the carburetors if it's got to sit. You know, turn off the fuel supply, run it till it won't run, and avoid this. Tank is full. I'm going to put in this Lucas. They say it's good for motorcycles as well as cars. Most of it, anyway. The bike will run on choke. It just won't run if you try to throttle this, because there's an injector that's clogged up. I'm hoping if I can get it started, the battery not failing me like it has recently, if I can get it started, I'm hoping that carburetor cleaner can run through the carburetors and possibly clean out any junk that might be blocking that jet. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the battery letting me down is why the cover is off. I took it out the other day on throttle and actually got it in the second gear. Just thought maybe I could get the gas to work through it and clean out all that vile stuff in the carburetor. Then it died. When I tried to start it, the battery was completely dead. I had just charged it. So there's some kind of parasitic draw to the battery. I'm getting confused. And it's a new battery. See, there it is, the battery. Deader than a doornail. Had the key completely off. Don't know what could have drained the battery. I've got nothing extra electrical on it. These connectors are okay, nice and tight. That's connected. I don't see anything loose. I'll charge the battery and try again. Now, because I saw a couple of red flag warnings pop up during this video, did you see those? I'm assuming a lot of you are rushing to your keyboards to type in a comment saying, hey, might not be the battery. With that assumption, I did a little research and found that it could be the rectifier, which has a lot to do with rectifying or regulating electricity current to the battery, which kind of makes sense. So that's my next task, is figure out what it is, where it is, and how to change it. And I found out that involves a mystical thing called a multimeter or multimeter, which I don't have, so I'm going to the store. Not knowing much about the subject, I'm assuming Walmart's going to have one. Walmart usually has, you know, pretty much everything. So to let you know, I'm legitimately not a legitimate handyman or mechanic. I had to go out and buy a multimeter, something that's pretty standard for electrical stuff, especially this kind of thing. Still feels kind of like Christmas, getting to open up something packaged, new toy that hopefully I'll figure out how to use. Good news or bad news, I don't know, but there was a weird reading. So I went and bought a new rectifier. It's like $135. And I've only done one test. There's something else to check too. I'm just gonna guess and say this is it. If not, I just made a big investment on a 20-year-old motorcycle that it probably needed anyway. Okay, there it is. This is the new rectifier. I didn't take the old one down when I ordered, so I'm hoping this thing gets a little different. It's not a major difference, just basically how this has been done. These are in cuts now. These were cut right into the metal. I'm guessing just an update in design. Okay, here we go. Putting the old bolts into this one because it didn't come with new bolts. I'm gonna spare you the biggest part of putting this back together because it's pretty much straightforward. And I'll probably have to have my hands free anyway to get most of this done. Okay, that's done. It was pretty easy. Looking all nice and chromy now. The only thing I've got to do now is put the tailpipe back on. That's going to be a challenge. They're custom pipes and they don't really fit that well. Can you say tight squeeze? I'm beginning to think it was a blessing I couldn't get this tailpipe all the way off because it is a booger to try and put on. This flange right here, I've got the one nut on, but the one back here, oh man. Oh, the toils and strife of a wannabe handyman, huh? Got that done. Now all I have to do is put these bolts back in for the end of the tailpipe. I'm amazed, guys. For a guy that's kind of a halfway handyman, I've actually got it put back together and it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I had a couple of bolts I had to put in for the tailpipe. The actual one's further down, you can't see it, but it has a sleeve the nut has to line up in. You have to do it blindly and try to get it to connect, and somehow, thank you God, I did it. Now I just have to charge the battery and hope I fix the problem. For those of you who might have been wondering, evidently a motorcycle gets a lot of AC current that needs to be turned into DC. That's what this does, and regulates how much power goes back to the battery so it doesn't swell up and overload. Rectifier regulator. Are you like me when you're doing something you've never done before and you're about to connect it to like a battery charger? You're hoping something doesn't catch fire or blow up. That's pretty much where I am right now. But as I reach for the charger, I'm going to remain positive and not be negative. Get it? Battery charger. Okay, never mind. 80%, I think that's good enough to get it started. Disconnect the positive first, then the negative, and I've got to reconnect the battery. Wow, I actually found the bolts. Let's see, now I'm going to connect the negative first. Well, I got it started. It's not running correctly. It's like this pipe isn't in enough, it's backfiring through that pipe. So I'm not sure if that's because of the rectifier that I put in or just because the pipe's not on there correctly. So this might take a while, guys. So the part I bought had absolutely no effect on the bike at all. It still backfires doing what it did before. Now I've got to contemplate, do I fix the carburetors again or do I learn to live with my paperweight? If you like this episode, guys, would you give me a big thumbs up? I know I didn't fix it, but then again, the promise is sort of. Got the rectifier on, just wasn't the right answer. If you would, consider subscribing to my channel, leave a comment, give me a big thumbs up, tell your friends about me, and remember, I'll be fixing to see you next time.